Hey guys, Road Doctors Politics here, back with another video. Today I wanted to try and keep it a bit short and sort of pose a question to you guys because this video is going to be focused on the Conservative government, the current Tory government, and sort of discussing what their political end game is. So basically what they want to happen in like the grand scheme of things in terms of the economy, in terms of Brexit, in terms of improving social mobility, welfare, things like that. Because I don't know if anyone else watching has seen this series before, but last night I was watching a Hospital, which is a new series commissioned by the BBC about the recent winter crisis in certain NHS hospitals. And last episode was based in Nottingham and covering sort of the chaos that ensued at that particular hospital. And I think until you see it happening, until you actually can comprehend and understand and see the reality of and the impact of Tory cuts to the NHS in this country, I think you won't get like a bigger picture of what it is that the government is attempting to do. And I don't think it's very good. Well, it's definitely not very good. So I wanted to use this video to discuss that because, I don't see any positive change happening in this country with this particular government in power. Because as I was watching this programme and looking at the conditions that staff had to deal with in this hospital, I mean, they mentioned on several occasions that A&E looked like a war zone, pretty much, because there were just beds like lined up, waiting, just nowhere to go. Just so many people in need of treatment, operations, some cubicle to go in, and there was just no room. There was no room. There was nowhere for them to go, and in the end, they ended up having to cancel hundreds and hundreds of operations because they just did not have the space to admit more people, and they just couldn't find the resources to do it, so they were forced to cancel by the trust, which was absolutely heartbreaking, and it just really showed the extent to which the NHS is properly struggling with all of these public service cuts that the government specifically have been imposing on them, which it really struck a chord with me because my mum works at the NHS and is a discharge nurse and is responsible for trying to get people out of hospital and looked after by care in the community or social care or whatever it is. And that sort of made me want to do this video. So what is it that the Tories want to get out of, their time in government, their time, what they're going to do with the power that they have? Because over the last 8 or so years, things have just gotten worse for a lot of people in society. Like, homelessness has more than tripled. And more and more people are going to food banks. There's more people in work poverty and not earning enough to pay their rents, 0 hours contracts, and people just really, really properly struggling to make a living. And as well with like universal credit as well, the way that people are treated in that vein. It's really not good. So I mean, Like, what do they eventually want to happen? Like, 'cause I was thinking this. I was like, where are they going? What with the way that they are treating people? Do they just want to have an eventual explosion of poverty? Because that's the direction in which they're headed at the moment. Just a complete poverty explosion, where everyone is poor and can't afford things. They can't afford healthcare, can't afford to send their kids to school. I mean, if they want to keep on down the road of privatising, and the NHS, God forbid, if it eventually becomes privatised, and no one will be able to afford to go to hospital or be able to afford their drugs or medication, and then more people will end up dying because they can't get the treatment that they need. I mean, that's a slippery slope, and it just keeps on begging the question. Now, I understand that the Tories haven't always been this far to the right, because it's quite noticeable that they've made a significant jump from sort of centre right to a bit more right over the last few years. And they didn't always used to be like that. They were considered fairly moderate right, if you want. And John Major was certainly one of those people. And it was like they've been quite successful over the past couple of centuries. They've been in power for like 2/3 of those centuries, and it was only with the likes of Tony Blair in '97 and in 1945 with Attlee that they lost significantly due to Labour landslides. So the rest of the time they've been pretty much up there, and it's only now that things have started to really decline for them. And I think it's largely because of the average age of membership, which is like 70 odd. Their membership is in decline. I think they're the 4th largest membership in the UK, and it seems like they're more concentrated on dealing with squabbles within their own party and dealing with certain individuals rather than the job that they should be doing, which is governing. And even we see Brexit, which is should be the most important thing, like the biggest priority. They haven't got it just seems like they don't have a clue what they're doing, and it's just a complete disaster. So I don't know where what their priorities are, or what they're doing, or what their big grand plan is. But I don't think that they're putting people before party. So in terms of Brexit, you could say that, well, I mean, our economic forecast for next year is well below what other Eurozone countries are. I mean, our expected growth is about 1.1%, and that's lagging just a little bit in front of Italy. And we're amongst the bottom countries in terms of how we're expected to grow. And it's not a lot, really, because of inflation, because of wages being squeezed, because of Brexit uncertainty, obviously, and business is not really confident enough to keep investing in this country. And the government really aren't dealing with this well at all. And you can see it in who's in charge. I mean, Boris Johnson as Foreign Secretary, really, and he's basically unsackable. He could do or say anything and he would not be fired. And Theresa May is even worse. She's pretty much like a dead cat who everyone thought would be gone this time last year. You've got Michael Gove, who's no better, Chris Grayling, Damien Green, Michael Fallon, who's been sacked as Defence Minister and replaced with Gavin Williamson, who said that the Russians should shut up and go away. I mean, really, is that the sort of professionalism you're looking for in a government in charge? Because I don't think it is at all. It's just complete lack of leadership, a failure to govern. So I really don't know, like, where are they going? Do they have any sort of plan whatsoever? Do they have any outlines of where they want to be in the next 5 years? Because I don't fucking know. So yeah, that's my question. What is the Tories' political endgame? Where do they want to be? Where do they see themselves? So you could ask them this in a job interview. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? And their answer would probably be, not a fucking clue, mate. I don't know. Just keep on keeping on. Keep dragging my feet and hope for the best. I don't know. I mean, there are some nefarious folk in the Tory party, as well as in Labour. There's nefarious people in every party, but I mean, I just think some people have just got their own game plan, and it's everyone for themselves, I think. So yeah, that's my question to you. What is the Tories' end game? What do you think they want to eventually achieve with the UK? Is it a question of just maintaining power at whatever cost? So yeah, answer that. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I think I'm only about 4 subscribers away from 100 now. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for subbing and commenting. And I will see you guys in another stream or another video soon. Bye.